You know, a lot of people don't understand what real faith actually is. A lot of people confuse faith with belief when they're really two different things. Of course, you can't have faith without starting with belief, because you must believe that God exists. You must believe that Jesus is God's Son in order to have faith. But faith is a different thing. It's what takes place after belief. That's why I love Hebrews chapter 11, because it reveals to us what real faith actually looks like. It tells us about Abel, how he revealed his faith by bringing an acceptable sacrifice to God. And then it talks about Enoch, how he revealed his faith by living a life that pleased God. It talks about Noah, how he revealed his faith by building a large ark and saving his family from the flood. It talks about how Abraham revealed his faith by leaving his home and going to a distant land that God told him to go to. He was considered the father of faith, even counted as righteous by God because of his great faith. He had so much faith in God, he believed that God would do what he said he was going to do. And if God said that he was going to bless him with as many descendants as sand on the seashore, then God couldn't lie. And so if God asked him to sacrifice his only true son, Isaac, well, Abraham revealed how much he truly believed God by carrying out the action of sacrificing his son and revealing his real faith in God, his trust in God to do what he promised he was going to do. He considered that, well, God already promised he was going to bless me with all these descendants through Isaac. So if God's asking me to sacrifice Isaac, well, that's God's problem. God's just going to have to raise Isaac from the dead, because God cannot lie. And so Abraham believed God, but then he showed how much he believed by living out his faith and sacrificing his son Isaac on the altar. And then God stopped him at the last second, in a sense, did raise Isaac from the dead, and then provided himself a sacrifice on that very altar. And so faith, you cannot have faith without starting with belief, because you must believe God is who he says he is. But then the faith that saves you is the life that's lived in response to that belief that you have. That's why James says in James chapter 2, faith without works is dead and useless. It's not real faith at all. Even the demons believe in God, and they tremble in his presence. So their belief is even greater than yours, because they tremble when they think of God. That's how much they believe. But they don't have saving faith, because they don't live a life that responds to that belief that they have and put their trust in Jesus for their salvation. That's what we're called to do, and that's what saves us, is our trust and faith in Jesus Christ.